Rev up your engines! All right, the tale of the $3,800 BMW. I always warn people about BMWs. Well, let's see if my warning is merited on this or not. Now, he's got some hesitation and problems with, but before we get into that, I mean, it's certainly a nice looking car for $3,800. It's got the decent wheels, decent tires, pretty good paint job, 328i. Yeah, the window coating inside's coming out, that's no big deal. But the interior, check it out. It's still in excellent shape. We'll take a look under the hood. Now, like most BMWs, half the car's made out of plastic. You always got to watch that because all these plastic fittings can go bad and leak and stuff like that. They're solid built engines, but they got too much plastic crap on them. Now, this particular one's a Southern car. It's been in Kentucky, Tennessee. I don't think we're really going to have to worry about rust on it. No, it's still real solid underneath. Fenders aren't pitted and rusted or anything. But he noticed some hesitation and problems. So first thing we're going to do is hook up the scan tool, see what kind of data's in it. Easy enough to plug it in. Here we go. And we'll go through the whole system. While we're at it, you can see the interior is in excellent shape. There's no cracks. Wood still looks good. Armrest isn't particularly worn. No, the liner here is gone. It's just foam, but you can always do that later if you want. Leather seats are in good shape. Yeah, the window tinting was done by a crappy guy. That needs to be done over, but that's minor stuff. But now you're going to see why I tell people BMW is not always the wisest choice. Look at all the reds. We have reds coming up the wazoo here. We'll start with the ECM system. And it's got problems with the intelligent battery sensors missing. Somebody didn't put it back on. That often happens. You get codes that don't really mean all that much, but you leave parts off. The computer remembers and it never forgets. Now we'll also look at the transmission control module. No message from instrument panel. No message from another receiver. These are all communication failures. Realize these things are a rat's nest of wires and sensors and computer modules. They'll make your head spin. And again, under the car access system, it's got a CAN line fault. Those are all communication faults on the wiring system. This car has wiring problems, obviously. The problem is pinpointing, and we're going to have to look at every single one to see where the commonality is. Again, under the tire pressure control, there's another CAN line fault. Again, the seat module has a CAN line fault. The footwell module, again, we have the CAN communication fault. He has a fault for this fresh air recirculated air flap motor. Well, as long as it works, who cares about that? You're not going to be tearing this dash apart to fix that. The ABS system has loss of message from the transmitter. The telematic control unit has a problem. A lot of times they get problems with these dash units on these. And the control display, the gateway for the whole thing, also has a CAN communication fault. Now, to try to figure out what's going on, we're going to start with a simple thing. We're going to erase them all. You can see it's erasing them all, but you can see here, it will not erase the transmission control module codes. Now we try. They stayed on for quite some time. Probably a problem in the transmission control module to begin with. But we're going to take it for a road test and see what comes back. Well, if you notice, it started a little bit wanky. So, we're going to test out the battery. So, we got a handy-dandy battery tester. Now, I've hooked it up and it shows that the battery is good, but that it needs to be recharged. It's only got 12.04 volts. That's way too low. He just bought it yesterday. It's been sitting for a while. The battery needs to be recharged. You know, the guys at AutoZone said, no, it's fine. They're nuts. It says on my machine it needs to be recharged. Now we're going to check the charging system, see if it's working. So, start it up. You can tell it's slow by how it's cranking slow. So it's charging perfectly fine. So basically the battery is going to have to be charged up to do any kind of serious testing because this thing runs on all electronics. But since it's putting out 14.3 volts, it should work perfectly fine while we're driving down the road. I erased the code, so we're going to take it for a road test. Now they certainly are fun to drive. I mean, smooth. It's just they have all this crazy electronics in it. Make your head spin. So we're going to road test it, see if any of these codes come back. They're certainly fun to drive. Whipping around corners, there's no arguing that. But the electronics on these things will literally make your head spin when they have problems. Perhaps somebody didn't erase all these codes from a long time ago. A regular scan tool won't erase them all. Something like this does. So we'll drive it seriously and see what happens. Stops fine, has a smooth idle, shifts like a dream so far. For a little drive in the country by the airport, get to our little drag strip. We'll see how it acts under a load. You can see there's nobody behind us to rear end us. Gotta watch out on this road. We'll come to a stop, and here we go. Smooth shifting, no misses. Got plenty of power. Well, now it's warning us the tire pressure monitoring system's acting up. Typical on any car that's got some mileage on it. This has got 133,699. Now when we step on the gas, it passes. It's got some zip to it. Like I say, they're fun to drive. They're just electronic nightmares when they break down. Kind of annoying that the warning lights come on all the time, but hey, now here we go on the curve. These things handle great in curves. I didn't slow down at all. And this thing just hugs the curves. They're really fun machines to drive. Man, it's got a lot of guts, I'll give it that. BMW's always made good engines. Now I'll take my machine off the seat because it's weighing it and warning me about the seat belt. That's what the dinging is. It's a heavy tool. I got rid of the obnoxious dinging by moving my computer to the middle instead of sitting on the passenger seat, where it thought the computer was a passenger, so it kept warning me. And here we go on a turn. Keeps warning you about the tire pressure system that isn't working anymore. No, whistle's a little bit too much for me. It's a side view mirror when you're going faster. No, normally BMWs don't whistle like this, so I'd assume this is in some kind of wreck that makes this side whistle, but hey, it drives and runs fine. So here we go, scanning again. It's already picking up some code, so let's see what came back. All right, we'll stop at the bottom and work our way up. The telematics says it's a problem with the Bluetooth, but that doesn't affect running, so we really don't care about that. I'll go to the ECM. The intelligent battery sensor is missing. We really don't care about that either. It's not really going to make it run weird. See, it'll be that flap thing probably. Sure enough, a flap. We don't care about that either. Footwell module saying that side marker lights are faulty. Yeah, that's not, has nothing to do with running of the car. And the tire pressure control. Well, we know that's not working because the warning light's on. But none of those communication codes has come back. It actually ran pretty good for me. Surmising of all this is, some point in time this car had been worked on, probably been in a minor wreck, making it whistle, and they didn't have a machine like this, and they didn't reset all those. You're going to get communication codes up the wazoo if a car gets hit or if the battery's replaced, and you don't reset all that stuff. Now in the future, if they come back, yeah, there's definitely a problem. In the case of this car, I would say put it on a battery charger for 12 hours or so, because the battery is low, and since it's low, when you start the car, you heard it kind of, it's got to send the electricity to everything while it's cranking the engine. And with that lower voltage, that can create communication codes. And the way it goes, it's running good for now, but it is a BMW. Only the future will show, were they serious communication codes? Will it go back to having a stall out problem? We'll find out once he recharges the battery and drives it around a while. And here's some bonus questions and answers. MacDaddy945 says, I have a 2013 Kia Soul and I bought it off my mother. When it hit 100,000 miles, it started burning oil. I had a quart every 2 weeks. Somebody said there's a soft recall. Do you know what to do? Okay, here's what you're going to do. You may not get satisfaction anyways, because it's not the greatest company, especially in the United States. The Kia dealers are known as being one of the poorest dealers for repair, for not fixing the free stuff they're supposed to. But you take it to the dealer and say, this thing is burning oil. Now, if they're honest, they'll say, well, we got to do a test. And what they'll do is, they'll make sure your oil is full. They'll seal your dipstick, so you can't do anything to it, and they'll put paint on your oil drain so you can't do anything to that. And then they'll say, drive it 1,000 miles, and we'll see how much oil it burns. And if it burns more than like a quart every 1,000 miles, then they have to fix the engine, right? But the problem with that is, this is a voluntary thing by Kia, and they give a certain mileage. If your car has too many miles on it, they'll say, well, yours is too many miles, it's not covered. Or yours is now 10 years old. They might say, it's 10 years old, it's not covered. Go there and see what they say. At least if they do the test, you know. But if they say, oh, your car's too old, then you're screwed and there's nothing you can do. Just keep adding oil. Never, ever buy another Kia because it costs, you got to rebuild the engine, which costs thousands and thousands. Most guys don't even know how to do it correctly. So that's what you want to do. Take it and pray that they'll do something. I doubt if they will, but it's worth a test. And if they don't, basically you're stuck living with it. So if you never want to miss another one of my new car repair videos, remember to ring that bell.